Hey friends, and welcome to the Revive Everyday Living podcast.
We are your hosts, Courtney
and Sharaya, and we're talking everything from life situations, relationships,
friendships, and parenting,
and all our adventures.
So stick around because we are getting real.
Hey y'all, it's Friday, and I feel so good. That's the song, no?
Sing the rest.
Girl, I don't know the rest. I just know that part.
Sing the rest. I gotta know if it really is a song.
No, I just know that part. I think it's a song.
I think
it's a song in my head.
I think it's now the real theme song. She'll teach it to y'all if you want to know. Welcome to The Real.
Welcome.
We're excited. We're excited today because we're bringing you another episode on the series of this spring cleaning it all out.
Cleaning it up. Cleaning it out. Finding it in the back of the closet and deciding, do I need it? Pile 1. Do I don't need it? Pile 2. Pile 3. It's a maybe. So today we are talking about how do we sustain the new.
When we talk about sustaining the new, let's talk about how we actually get there. What do we need as our framework to sustain the new? So it reminds me of blueprints of an architect. You're building a building. You're building something that you are going after. You're building the vision. You're building the goals. You are building the new. You need a blueprint. You need those surveys. You need that full-on idea of where you are going. For me, I need some boundaries. I need some boundaries in my life that were not set in place in the previous season that allowed me to stay there in that stagnant season because I didn't have boundaries.
Ooh.
Just like when you're building a house, a builder has boundaries to where he or she cannot build outside of because now you're in somebody else's property. So when we stay within certain boundaries, when we set up boundaries, then we can develop the framework of whatever it is that we're building.
That is so good. I love a boundary. Yeah, when you really learn the importance of a boundary and why you have it in place. Sometimes we don't know why we have the boundary in place, so you don't value it, and you can inch outside of the space. And you're ending up in someone else's yard because you don't value and respect that you stop here.
Yeah. Love it.
So I think vision and goals is another place and really important for the framework. Just like you were saying, the architect has to have the blueprint. The blueprints is the vision.
Right.
It's the end result. What am the square footage and what materials are needed to make and do X, Y, and Z. So all that groundwork is in the vision and in the goal. What does my end result look like? And sometimes we go into a new season and we have no idea. You didn't pre-plan for this season.
Yeah.
And that's really unusual. It's unusual to plan for a season. Most people haven't been taught that every season you plan for it.
Well, it also goes back to enjoying the journey and trusting the process that we talked about in our previous episode, where it is in that process that we develop the character where we can figure out, okay, where is it that we are going? What is it that we need? And what do we need to build in that process to be able to sustain the blessing or the new that is coming? So,
okay, this is going to be a fashion moment because, I like to throw these in.
Come on with it.
For last year or the year before, I started buying trench coats. Why? Because I like fall and winter. But I was prepared because I have insulated boots. I had, not just me, though kids, my husband, all of us had the jackets, the London fog jackets, just so the snow can, come down
drip
and
off.
not be soggy on your stuff.
So basically,
that's preparation.
Basically, you weren't like the rest of us out there in our pajama flannel pants and
you know me better than that. No, I was not. I was out here looking cute, but it's preparing. And even when I go thrifting, we're in the spring season. So when I'm thrifting, I'm not just looking for spring. I'm looking for fall, I'm looking for summer, I'm looking for winter. So I'm squirreling different finds away because I'm looking at, this is where I'm going. Like I want to go to Mexico for the summer. So when I'm thrifting, I'm looking for cover-ups. I'm looking for swim shorts for my son. I'm looking for different little finds for my daughter, little suitcases or little handbags to have on the beach, because I've already planned or outlined a new season.
Yeah, you have a vision, you have a goal, and you are getting ready and prepared for where you are going.
Building the framework.
So, as you build the framework and you start to see where you want to go, what is something that your old mindset kept you from doing? Why didn't you do whatever it is that you are going after now back then?
One thing that my old mindset kept me from doing was experiencing life. I was ashamed to live. I looked at my past experiences, the things that I have gone through, even the things that I have done, and I didn't want to live. I not that I didn't want to like physically live.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to live and have other people see me live.
Yeah.
And I felt like I should suffer because of what I went through, and that people expected me to suffer. So I may have been living.
You were just existing.
Yes. Existing. So that's something like that my old mindset kept me from doing.
Yeah. So for me, I would have to say my old mindset kept me from cutting off toxic relationships or relationships that couldn't survive if I wanted to go to the next level. But my mindset kept me keeping and holding on to those relationships.
Ooh, so the toxic. Tell me, what do you consider toxic behavior?
I would consider toxic behavior those relationships that you hold on to that really do not add anything to your purpose, don't add anything to where you are going. So many people that I was surrounded with just had a constant negative mindset. They were always looking for the bad in situations. They were not ready to build. They weren't ready to go anywhere. They taken me to places that I should not be going, or wanting to take me to places that I shouldn't be going. But just those that weren't aligned with where God wanted me to go.
Did you find that toxic relationships were when you shifted into your purpose, or did you have toxic relationships before you shifted into your purpose?
I think that's kind of a personal assessment question. Like, the way I define toxic relationship might not be the same way you defined a toxic relationship. What might be good for me won't be good for you. What might be bad for me could be good for you. We all have our own convictions based on where we're going, how we get there, and what we see ourselves doing.
So I completely agree with you, Courtney. In our last episode, I was talking about wine and drinking, and
how you knew so much about wine.
Oh yeah, I did know a lot of I know
and
a lot of things about wine and the liquors, but I don't ever really condemn anyone for their journey, right? For where they are. And if I'm being 100% honest, wine, I think is okay. I think it's in the Bible, so. This is my personal thoughts. This is not, there's no logic or backing this up. So it's just my personal opinion. I think wine is okay. However, I got to a space where God said wine is not okay for you. And he showed me my behavior. He showed me how I was utilizing it in a toxic way, and that I had to let that go. So I don't drink wine anymore, and I don't I haven't drank alcohol in a while, like liquor in a while, but I was drinking wine, and I think it's been like a year and a half or 2 years already that I stopped drinking wine. But it was a personal conviction. It was that space where God said, okay, this is what, like, you're creating a toxic relationship. You are the toxic relationship.
You are it. Yeah.
The toxic relationship that you have to cut off. You have to establish a boundary for yourself.
Exactly.
And sometimes we go through that moment. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and say, your behavior is toxic.
Exactly.
And for me, my behavior was toxic when I was drinking, and I didn't deal with or talk about or feel. That's why I'm really big on feeling. Feel the emotion, feel what you're going through. Because when you don't, you kind of like suppress it with other things that become toxic. And then you're having to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough.
Yeah.
But I am toxic. This is toxic behavior.
Exactly. Clean it up because we're going somewhere.
Clean it up because we're going somewhere. And so I think I agree with you on the cutting things off and making sure that you experience life and you create that boundary. You identify your vision. And even if it's you, like if you have to do a personal vision, I do personal vision boards all the time. Just to create my vision, create that framework. And then it helps me identify what boundaries do I need to put in place for this season, this version of me,
Right.
this evolved space that I'm in. What are the new boundaries do I have to put in place? What are the things that I need to cut out? Because at one point, wine was fine for me. Wine was better. It was better for me to have a glass of wine than to have gin and orange juice before I went to work.
Yeah.
And then come home and have 2 or 3 Long Island iced teas. So it was better for me to say, okay, no liquor. You can have wine. And then from no liquor to wine to, okay, now you're still missing the mark on the boundary.
Right.
You're still missing the mark on the like self-control and all of that.
Sure.
You need to cut that out too. So now I have 2 things to cut out, and now I'm just relying on me, but I'm learning a new part of me because I let go of so many things that were like clouding, and it like obscured your vision and your framework is sloppy. Like I'm thinking that I'm laying my foundation and it's even, but like through my drunken eyes, it was even. But now that I'm sober, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
How did you get to that point where you were realizing like, okay, liquor is not good for me. I need to cut it out. And then you got to the point where you said wine is not good for me. But how did you practice that self-discipline when you were getting satisfaction from those toxic, quote, quote, things?
One way that I decided that liquor was not good for me was I've always been really good. I haven't really been addicted to anything. So it's easy for me to pick up and let go. So when my behavior got what I felt like was out of control, I was like, oh, no, ma'am. So my out of control behavior was 2 things. I started singing karaoke and dancing. Like I would go to the karaoke bar and I would actually sing. And then I would be dancing and like just do that was outside of my norm, outside of my character. And then the second thing was I would drink and like I would throw up, or I was just drinking so much that I couldn't function the next day. But I've never missed work because I was drunk, because, you know, that's something that I was taught. You can party hard at night, but you better be at that 9 to 5. So I would always showed up, but I was miserable. Like I was so miserable. So like that sick feeling and still having to be excellent at the job site, it was like, okay, it's enough. Get yourself together. And then boom, I cut it off. I stopped.
Yeah.
Then I started, like I stopped for a while and I was like, I think I'm going to try wine. Someone was like, oh, wine, ladies drink wine. So this is how ladies like decompress. Liquors for men. And, you know, it was like this classic lady moment that was shared with me. So I started drinking wine. And then I realized when I started drinking wine, I would emotionally drink. And when things would happen in real life, my emotions would be very aggressive and I would drink more. So once I became that person and I started seeing myself, and it wasn't like really for the world really couldn't see that because I always drank like privately, but I was privately angry. And that's like the worst anger, right? You rather like be angry at someone else.
Yeah.
But when you're like drinking and you have your glass of wine, and I always had like a whole moment. It was like wine and white chocolate or wine and oatmeal raisin cookies. Like just like this whole extra.
You were a classy mad.
I was. And then I'm sitting there with white chocolate, just angry for no reason. And it's like,
This isn't fun.
This is not it. Like, okay, there's a problem. And the problem wasn't necessarily with what I was drinking. The problem was me. And I wasn't willing to deal with what was going on with me emotionally. So I was drinking liquor. And then, okay, nope, liquor wasn't doing it. Drink wine. Then, nope. Wine wasn't doing it. Now it's time for you to face that mirror and for you to work on some things. So
it's time for you to open the closet, let the clutter fall out, pick it up, put it in place,
and start your framework.
Exactly. So are you ready now? Are you ready now to get that framework together? Are you ready to experience the new life and do what it takes to get there?
Yeah, I think that if I'm honest, like, it's kind of been subconscious. I've been doing the framework, and now that I look back, I'm like, ooh, like I have, half my house is here.
Yeah.
And it's like that walkthrough moment where you're looking and you're just looking for your appliances. You're looking at what grout am I going to use? What tile is going to go here? Let me feel the carpet.
Right.
And so I'm pretty excited about experiencing the living, and I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Are you ready for the boundaries?
I'm ready for the boundaries. I am ready to jump in, to dive in, and I have already begun to experience what it is like to have healthy boundaries that bring in healthy relationships, that bring in those relationships that are very edifying to my life, that have placed me in positions that I've never been in before, that are helping me to grow, that are helping me develop my character, to help me develop and sustain the blessings that God is pouring out into my life.
So now that we've decided that we're ready, we want to know, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Go to our Instagram page and let us know that you're ready. We are going to post something off of our bucket list because Courtney and I are creating, and we want you to create with us. Create a bucket list and let's pull on the excitement of the new. What are we ready to do? Let's do it.
Yes. Let's document these new experiences, the new things that we're going after, the new things that God is bringing into our lives, because we've set boundaries, we've set a vision, we've created goals, we're developing that framework, we're cutting off old relationships, we're cutting out our past things that did not work for us. We are not ashamed to live anymore, and we are ready. So we want you to document it, put it on our Instagram page, and we're going to share ours with you. Sharaya, what is one thing that you are going to do new? Something that you've never done before. Let's say, what is one thing that you have never eaten before in your life?
Sushi.
All right. Y'all heard it. You're going to eat sushi. You're going to take a picture and you're going to post it on our Instagram so everybody can see that you're eating sushi because you're living.
I'm living.
You're
unashamed.
living.
But can I just go to a new restaurant instead?
Nope. No. It's sushi.
I think it will be more exciting in a new restaurant.
You can go to a new restaurant and eat sushi.
Oh, gosh.
Mix it up, girl. Live a little.
Live a little. Okay, fine, I guess.
So until next time, keep it real. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Revive Everyday Living.
Be sure to subscribe, comment, and share.
Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.